This game you're seeing right now might be one of the biggest upcoming projects that you've never heard of or that you forgot about, because it's still being developed in complete secrecy, but not for a long time anymore. Blight Survival has been one of those games simmering just under the surface of the industry's radar, a title that every time the developers release a new devlog, you get the sense they're quietly building something special. It doesn't scream for attention the way bigger studios do, but when you look closely at what Hainier Studio is doing, you can see why this project has so many people keeping a close eye on it. And now, with confirmation that we'll see a full combat gameplay reveal before the end of 2025, it feels like the moment where Blight Survival stops being just that interesting medieval horror game and starts becoming a serious player in the genre. The updates from the team have been steady, and they've revealed a lot about how Blight is evolving. One of the clearest focuses right now is on combat. This isn't a hack and slash where you mow down endless hordes, nor is it a power fantasy where your character feels untouchable. The devs keep stressing that fights will be brutal, intimate, and unforgiving. Every enemy you face is meant to feel dangerous, every swing of your weapon carries weight, and survival is never guaranteed. They've already talked about weapon efficiency based on type, cutting, blunt, piercing, meaning your loadout choices actually matter depending on what you're up against. That level of detail is the kind of design choice that sets Blight apart from the start. It's not just combat mechanics, the devs have shown they're thinking deeply about world design. So far, most of what's been showcased are sprawling outdoor environments, ruined villages, decaying marshlands, dense forests, rocky cliffs, big, open, immersive. But one of the big questions fans had early on was whether the game would offer interiors as well. The answer is a definitive yes. Caves, dungeons, cell blocks, and other enclosed spaces are in development, and they're shaping up to be some of the most atmospheric parts of the game. These interiors aren't filler, they're built to shift pacing, creating tight, claustrophobic encounters that feel very different from the wide open wilderness. The devlog highlighted a cell block environment designed by their 3D artist Briac, which emphasizes oppressive architecture and lighting that heightens tension. These spaces are also where the game's horror elements can shine in a way open environments can't replicate. The Blight itself continues to evolve as a gameplay mechanic. It isn't just background, it actively spreads, wraps around terrain, and consumes structures. It changes paths, blocks off areas, and makes exploration and combat more strategic, use the terrain to their advantage, and sometimes retreat to survive. It's an environmental threat that forces players to constantly think about positioning, timing, and risk. Exploration is another key pillar. The developers have been running multiple test builds, some stripped down to test core mechanics and traversal, others polished to evaluate visual fidelity and atmosphere. This allows them to iterate on what's fun and what simply looks good. Greybox builds help test combat encounters and pacing, while polished areas ensure that lighting, environmental storytelling, and immersion reach their potential. This dual-track development approach means the final game will be both mechanically sound and visually compelling. Enemies like the Night Stalker have become central to the identity of Blight. Even placeholder versions have unsettled internal testers. The design team is experimenting with movement, attack patterns, and horror elements to ensure that these creatures create tension and challenge. Each enemy is designed to feel unique rather than just another obstacle to hack through, and their behavior ties into the world itself. How they navigate the Blight, react to light, and interact with the player adds layers of unpredictability to every encounter. The combat system is deeply tied to weapon choice and equipment management. Weapons have weight, durability, and attack profiles that must be considered strategically. A broken sword or blunt weapon won't stop you completely, but it reduces efficiency, forcing players to decide whether to risk pushing forward or repair before continuing. This creates an ongoing tension where every decision matters, and the consequences of failure are tangible. Breakable environmental objects like pots, doors, and walls also interact with combat, creating emergent gameplay opportunities and a sense that the world itself is reactive. Customization is designed to feel meaningful but grounded. Players will craft their character's identity through armor, masks, banners, and heraldry, aligning with deities that influence starting masks and abilities. Gear can be mixed and matched, colors adjusted, and weapons personalized. This system prioritizes player expression without breaking immersion, allowing for individuality in a world that is otherwise grim, harsh, and unforgiving. Co-op is another area where Blight Survival sets itself apart. Designed for up to 4 players but playable solo, the game adapts to multiple playstyles. Solo play emphasizes tension and survival horror, while co-op allows for tactical coordination and combined strategies. Importantly, PvP isn't part of the core experience. The focus remains on cooperative survival against both the Blight and its inhabitants. The developers have also discussed the role of time of day and weather systems. Darkness increases difficulty, reduces visibility, and alters enemy behavior. Rain and fog create different traversal and combat challenges. These environmental factors make every expedition unique and contribute to the overall tension and immersion. Progression is being integrated carefully. Players will advance through increasingly complex areas, unlocking gear, weapons, and abilities as they navigate the marshlands and dungeons. Unlike some survival games that prioritize grinding, Blight Survival focuses on meaningful progression tied to story, exploration, and combat mastery. Monetization is straightforward. The devs have stated there will be no microtransactions or battle passes. They are aiming for a full boxed experience with the possibility of DLC expansions in the future. This approach reinforces their commitment to quality and player trust. The combat reveal, expected before the end of 2025, is shaping up to be the first major window for the public to experience the systems discussed in devlogs. The internal builds now feature polished combat animations, environmental interaction, and the Blight spreading mechanics. Given the frequency of devlog updates and the level of detail being shared, it seems likely that this gameplay showcase will demonstrate a playable slice of the world that communicates both the depth and the tone of Blight. For players who have been tracking the game since its initial announcement, the layers of detail, rasam purpatistasunum, from weapon mechanics to world design, from the Night Stalker to environmental hazards, from customization to co-op, suggest a title that is not just a survival game but a fully realized immersive experience. Every new devlog reinforces the sense that Hainer Studio is crafting something ambitious, nuanced, and unique. With combat, exploration, dungeons, and world mechanics all coming together, Blight is on track to be a game that could redefine expectations for medieval horror survival titles. The upcoming combat reveal will likely mark the point where it steps out from under the radar and into the spotlight. Players should be ready to see a game that balances tension, strategy, and immersion in a way few other survival games have attempted. There's really a ton of potential to be had here. It's no wonder the gameplay reveal got more than 5 million views in total on YouTube. This all started as an indie game made by 2 brothers which I collaborated with for a bit, and now into a full-blown studio.